Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is Tuesday, which means it's Good News Day. We have a lot of good news here to share with you, and I have some very big stories I will be cutting up into pieces to give you hope in humanity again. This is the first and only international game show, Before Coffee, a father and daughter news podcast where we look up our stories right before the show starts. We just got caffeine in our bodies and we're learning to read and speak live on stream. Let's get into those good Tuesday headlines and spit that segue wheel. Today on Good News Day. Two super puff planets the size of Jupiter have masses 10 to 20 times that of Earth. A new discovery is found in science. Plus, Princess Kate of the UK completes 3 Peaks Challenge to help hospitals where she underwent cancer treatment.
And let's see. Europe is betting on long-duration energy storage, and the most efficient solar module in the world has come along.
An 80-year-old woman with advanced Alzheimer's regained speech and mobility after taking psilocybin. And France bans advertising for ultra-fast fashion stores like Shein and Temu.
Ford rehires human engineers after AI fails to match quality checks, and Mission 300 connects over 50 million Africans to electricity.
In my culture news, another return of Benin bronzes to Nigeria, this time from Switzerland.
And it's national, things I can't pronounce. It's National Social Media Day. So here you are in social media. It's the last day of June 30th, 2026 on Before Coffee.
And let's stop that, start this. Let's go for our first segue roll. Just over my head. There we go. I'm hiding behind it. Gonna be sarcasm. Coming from my first 2 stories. First one is about planets. It's from Stephen Luntz. 2 super puff planets with the lowest densities ever measured have been discovered more than 1,000 light years away. Although such super puff planets have been seen before, this discovery is particularly unexpected because they both orbit the same star and are not particularly hot. Earth has an average density of 5.51 grams per cubic centimeter. Do the math at home. Narrowly taking the crown as the solar system's densest planet over Mercury. The gas giants are all much less dense, being lots of gas around relatively small solid cores, with Jupiter at 1.33 GCM, -3. I don't know what that means. What is -3? It's -3 grams.
-3. There you go.
And Saturn famously is less dense than water, so if you put Saturn in our ocean, it would just float on top. You'd have other problems though. It was only to be expected that as they discovered planets orbiting other stars, exoplanets, the range would be extended, but astronomers have been shocked at how far that goes. In 2022, a planet was found with density so low it was compared to a marshmallow at a density of just 0.27 GCM, -3. I really don't know what -3 means. Why did I just...
Is it an exponent? Is that an exponent, perhaps?
It's a cubic centimeter, but -3.
To the power of -3, right? An exponent, you know what I mean? Like it's squared or a cubed. Negative squared.
I don't think it's being used like that. It's being used like when you put like, I don't know. How can it be negative cubed though? How is it? I don't understand.
Right? Decimal points. Decimal. You know
how is
that
it
you
less
don't know
than
negative
zero
exponent?
density? I don't know. I
You
don't
don't know how
understand how it's
negative
level.
exponents work?
I don't know. I don't get how it's negative density. Anyways,
Negative exponent.
TOI 3757b is less than half as dense as Saturn and would comfortably float in your hot chocolate if you could find a bowl big enough. The universe was just getting started, however, with subsequent discoveries of planets so light they were more similar to cotton candy, fairy floss, or candy floss in some countries. Although they don't fully understand how these planets got this way, one notable feature is that most of them orbit very close to their star, and the heat apparently puffs them up, kind of like popcorn in your microwave. That makes at least one example a puzzle. Since it orbits suggests it should be, if not cool, at least more similar to Mercury in temperature than the others in its class, which have temperatures of thousands of degrees. TOI 791 system adds to the confusion. The TOI 791b has a density estimated at 0.038 cubic meters, almost exactly matching the current record holder at 0.47 cubic meters. TOI 791c's density is still less than 1% of Earth's, although both orbit closer to the star than Earth does the Sun. And TOI 791 is quite a luminous star. Neither planet is exposed to scorching heat like other super puff planets. Despite this, they are the largest planet ever found, with the densities lower than 0.05 cubic meters. Their masses are what would expect a rocky planet 2 to 3 times as wide as Earth, not gas giants with thousands of times of the volume. So there's like an image here of the size of these planets, and they're about the same size as Jupiter, a little bigger than Jupiter. 791c is bigger. You know, it would be so cool if they gave these guys better planets than number with letter, you know, but sure. To establish an exoplanet's density, they need to know its mass based on its movement, its gravity produces in the star, and its surface area from the light it blocks out when passing between the stars and the Earth. For some exoplanets, they have only one or the other, and can only guess how dense they are. However, TOI 791b and C were discovered through the drop in starlight collected by the TESS Space Telescope, TESS, when they passed between the Earth and the star. Since verified through the Doppler shift in TOI 791's light, the system was considered interesting enough to attract the attention of many telescopes. In particular, Antarctica's ASTEP, or ASTEP telescope, took advantage of the star's southern location from the Earth's perspective to capture the whole of transits lasting 11 hours during the long polar night to make the size measurements more precise. They favored the explanation for ultra-low density planets has been that they formed from the star, where hydrogen and helium are much more common than heavier elements. So it's baby like a sun baby, and then migrated inward to where the heat puffed them up. For two planets to make that journey suggests that they probably did it together, a hunch reinforced by a 5:3 ratio of their orbital periods. These multiplanetary systems are complex, with gravitational interaction between the planets that evolve over very long periods, said Professor Tristan Gouliot of Université Côte d'Azur. That could make explaining the formation process harder, but also more revealing if succeeded. Some other super puff planets orbit very young stars and may still be contracting, the authors say. TOI 791's age is unknown and could be an important piece of the puzzle. You can read more about this study, if you want to read it in the scientific jargon, in monthly notices of the Royal Astronomical Society, and it is open access, so anybody should be able to read it about these puff planets. But planets like popcorn, they get close to this, they get made from the sun, they get close and puff up into giant super planets. But they're less dense than a marshmallow.
Wow, that's why they float.
Yeah.
Sounds like something you could bounce around on pretty easy. Huh?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't have any sarcasm for this, except maybe we could send a billionaire or two there. I don't know. I got any more sarcasm for exoplanets or something the size of Jupiter. It's made of marshmallows, so it's interesting.
Our next story is from...
I don't know. This is not very funny, but I almost did this story.
Princess Kate completing... This is from Laura Elston on The Independent. The Princess of Wales has successfully completed the grueling 3 Peaks Challenge, undertaking a surprise feat of endurance to raise funds for a cancer charity and explore life beyond diagnosis. Kate announced her achievement via social media. Happy Social Media Day, by the way. Explaining her motivation was not a physical endeavor, but also to give something back and highlight the broader impact of serious illness. Over the weekend, starting on Saturday evening, which was the 27th of June, the future Queen ascended the highest mountains in Scotland, England and Wales, Ben Nevis, Scafell Pike, and Snowdon, all within a 24-hour period. She tackled the challenge solo with support from mountain rescue teams along the route. At the finish, she was met by Prince of Wales, their children Prince George, Prince Charlotte, and Prince Louis, as well as their parents Carol and Michael Middleton, and her brother James Middleton. What titles for them? Thanks a lot, Kate. Kensington Palace indicated that this expedition marks a royal first, with the princess being the first member of the royal family to complete the demanding challenge. The princess, who was pictured smiling broadly at the summit at Ben Nevis on Saturday, the 27th of June, evening, dressed in a cagule? I've never seen that word in my life. With a cap on her and her hood up, and trekking poles on her back, wrote, "I've taken on the National 3 Peaks Challenge, not simply as a physical endeavor, but as a chance to explore life beyond diagnosis and to give something back. The Royal Marston is a place that holds great meaning for me and whose care and expertise are life-changing for so many people. Though through this challenge, I want to raise awareness for the deeper impact of serious illness and the importance of holistic healthcare." Well, I don't know. I mean, I have a picture. That's all I can say. And it's not a good picture, Tommy. It's a picture of her in the fog. And she's wet. She's very wet. So she at least was pictured.
Oh my goodness. A wet princess.
On a mountain. You can be an anti-royalist without saying everything is fake news, Tommy. Just saying, that's an option for you. The princess in the photograph at the Missy Summit,
but it is good news. Yeah.
Could be seen wearing her sapphire. I mean, she raised money for cancer research, so I think that's good news.
Yeah,
seen wearing her sapphire and diamond engagement ring, which belongs to William's late mother, Diana, Princess of Wales, during the challenge. Sharing her own experience of cancer, she spoke of how she personally understood that the illness can affect every aspect of someone's life. The princess added, "Every year, hundreds of thousands of people in the country hear the words no one wants to hear. What follows is a path that tests every part of who we are physically, emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually. The challenge ripples outwards, touching families, friendships, work, and the quiet moments we spend alone with our thoughts. Cancer doesn't just affect the body, it changes how we think and feel and profoundly affects every aspect of life. I know this personally." Kate trekked for 23 miles with a total ascent of more than 10,000 feet and a driving distance of 462 miles between locations. Okay, I was going to ask this. Did she actually drive to each mountain, or did she just take a helicopter there, you know? But no, she actually drove in her own car to each mountain, which is across the entire country, so that she could hike up them.
She drove or she rode?
She got driven, maybe. Yeah. Either way,
chauffeur.
I thought she could have just taken a helicopter. Honestly, if I was a royal, I would have been like, just fly me to the bottom of the mountain. Yeah.
Don't get in one of those flying death machines if you can help it in any way. Don't ever get in a helicopter. She was treated for cancer at the Royal Marston Hospital in Chelsea, West London, and the Royal Marston Cancer Charity has launched a specifically designed fundraising page for people across the nation to donate. Money raised will be used to help more people with cancer benefit from holistic care. Princess, who has long campaigned over the importance of spending that time outdoors, wrote, "In the end, the bravery isn't just about pushing forward. It's about knowing how to stay grounded, connected, present, no matter the terrain or landscape you are walking through." I'm glad.
Okay, there's the money raised will also support research into holistic care and can best work alongside clinical cancer treatments to help patients with the goal of creating a blueprint for change. So the supportive care becomes a standard part of cancer treatment nationally. So not just, hey, take your drug and shut up, but also, hey, how are you doing? Are you feeling okay? Are you tired? Can we get you something to make your mental health better? Because anybody who's had cancer and anybody who knows anyone who's had cancer knows a lot of stress is not good for the cancer either. So
the money's important for sure.
Kate was diagnosed with an undisclosed form of cancer earlier in 2024, for which she underwent chemotherapy, and she was in remission 17 months ago in January of 25. She has gradually returned to royal duties, including supporting the king at state visits to the UK and returning to international travel with a working trip to Italy in May this year. So I guess if you want to go see her, she'll be in Italy in May. Oh wait, but she was in Italy in May. Wait, I don't know where she's going now. She's somewhere. Either way,
right.
Raising money for charity, using your royalty for something good, anyways, and that's the something to celebrate. Give me your sarcasm.
Absolutely. Celebrate. Thank you to Tommy for the sarcasm, because I could hear her remarks. You said she was showing off Princess Di's ring, basically showing off her African
when she was climbing. Yeah.
Showing off that African loot that they got once upon a time, right? That loot that they got from invading Africa. And of course, the sarcasm here is you could just give money to cancer research now. You just give the money.
I agree.
I mean, you're rich. Yeah.
At least match
and of course,
the charity. I was like, whatever the charity raises, we'll match. You know, that would be
great.
more impressive.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah, exactly. Maybe she is. Maybe the awareness.
Didn't mention it in the article, anyways.
It's much better than the South African / Canadian billionaires like Elon Musk, who just steal from children's charities. So that's my sarcasm. At least there's good billionaires out there. She's one of the good ones. She's one of the good billionaires. At least there's that, you know. I don't know. Let's paint a happy face on everything. Happy face. She's a good billionaire. She's out there to help. Thank you. Like Princess Diana.
No, she is a billionaire.
Are you kidding? They're the richest family in the world.
I don't think they're the richest family in the world.
You don't think the family that owns all the land in England and that whole entire island is rich, is a billionaire? That's real estate. Real estate is real stuff you can trade.
It says here she only has a 10 million net worth. That's all I'm saying. Her herself.
I'm talking about her. I'm talking about the family she's tied to. Right? They have unlimited wealth. Unlimited wealth. You can't measure it. It's land, right?
Yeah, but you can't make land solve cancer. That's all I'm saying.
You can sell it. You can lease it. You can put it for farming uses.
Maybe they're already doing that. I don't know. Yeah.
Turn it to construct. You can do all kinds of things with land. Land is okay. The land is the most valuable, most limited commodity. No. Right. Thank you. You can still turn property into wealth. And again, the Buckingham Palace would just be refurbished by for how much? How many millions? And nobody's living in it. Nobody's living. But no, let's hear it.
It's a bit too late, Tommy. We already have our good news stories.
Well, Tommy, send us a 5-minute blurb of a speech if you got it. If that's, we can use that as a video.
It's just I've already said this. You can talk about it, but I'm not talking about anything to do with UK prime ministers until there actually is one. I'll talk about what Andy Burnham is saying when he's actually prime minister. Right now, he's just saying shit so that he can get elected. That's all he's doing.
He's not
so I'm not talking about Andy Burnham until he's actually elected prime minister and does something.
We're not here.
He's just trying to get votes.
We're not here to promote anybody. I will not we do not necessarily endorse political candidates here because they always disappoint us. They always disappoint us. Politicians are always disappointing. Endorsing them, get behind him. Oh, he's got 9 kids by 12 different women.
Right now, he's trying to get votes, so he's just saying free beer, and everyone's like, he's going to give us free beer.
And then you find out this guy's...
And then he's like, actually, we sold the beer. We actually sold the beer to, I don't know, the Germans. So there actually is no free beer. We sold it for money. Oh no, there was no free beer the whole time. Our next segue is going to be some association with your stories.
We're just going to look something up here since you missed the Buckingham Palace story, and so did I. but I did read it. The 10-year refurbishment program that cost taxpayers roughly 369 million pounds sterling, or $470 million. Yeah, and King Charles is not going to live in it. So,
I guess they're not billionaires anymore, though.
Well, that's taxpayers' money. That's not their money. That's the people in England giving money to these people to fix their house that they're not going to live in. I'm just saying, not only are they billionaires, the richest family probably in the world, and you can dispute what their land's worth, but they don't have to pay taxes. Not only don't they have to pay taxes, the taxpayers support them by fixing up their house. How much more rich can you get? And it ain't like presidents where they got to move out after 4 years.
I'm not a royalist, so I'm not saying I'm a royalist.
That's the whole thing that gets me is like, that's all part of my contention that they are the richest family in the world, and she's a billionaire. I don't care what her personal wealth is. She has access to billions.
I think for her, she doesn't have that access, which is why they're like, they're not signing off on it, right? Whoever the hell the trust in charge of the trust of the royal family, right? They said, I'm not signing off on. Yeah, the Crown have control Prince, of it. I believe is what he's called.
She doesn't have control of it, but I think.
All I'm saying, I think, is what happened is she was like, "Oh, can we, donate some money to the hospital that, and maybe they did. Maybe they did donate it. It's just not in the story, right?"
If Prince William ever turned out to be a scumbag and they got divorced, you don't think she could get $1 billion in the divorce? I think she probably could.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. It was his fault.
Yeah, so whoever's in charge of signing off on what charities they donate to, I guess said, we're not donating to the hospital that made sure you didn't die of cancer. So, whoever they were, maybe that's what happened.
The point is, it's good news that she's using her fame for something good. So, there you go.
And anyways, since we're on this tangent still, I just wanted to quickly name this. Right. Maybe maybe we should do this for the Thursday's 13 list, huh? The richest royal families.
Yeah, you can do that. There you go. You could just go.
It's a perfect list.
13th one. Oh, they got to all be in the Middle East, right? No, the Sultan of whatever. The Sultan
I don't want
of
to
that.
make any reveals in case we do this list on Thursday, so I'm not going to reveal anything.
Okay. So what do we spin?
Associate.
Well, at least I'm awake now. Most efficient solar module in the world has been revealed. This is from Zachary Shahan from cleantechnia.com. A new PV module efficiency record from III-V, I guess that's 3-5, germanium PV module. 34.4% efficiency. Efficiency means how it turns one form of energy into another form of energy without losing power, or like wasting power.
Usually to heat.
Yeah, the conversion. Yeah, efficiency is all about conversion without losing power.
I believe coal plants are something like 10%. They're really bad efficiency.
Very inefficient. Now, solar panels again. Solar panels can be made to absorb more than just light, right? They get the UV rays, they get the gamma rays, whatever leaks through the clouds in our magnetic field hits that solar panel, should be made to absorb all that energy as it possibly can. The Fraunhofer Institute of Solar Energy Systems, or IESC, is no stranger to solar power records, and it just set another one. And via its own III-V, I think that's 3-5, germanium solar PV module, the Institute reached 34.4% module efficiency. The solar record march goes on. The solar cells were developed by Azer Space, while the anti-reflective coatings on the front glass were provided by Temicon. But Temicon is in lowercase. Maybe they like it that way. I don't know. Visitors to Intersolar, the Smarter E 2026, and see the world's most efficient PV module at Fraunhofer ISE's booth at A1-444. That's, I guess, some kind of a local show that's going on. And I'm not exactly sure. not a very good, well-written sentence there. The Fraunhofer ISE, that probably was a caption for a picture or anything. The Fraunhofer ISE team actually just set the solar module efficiency record earlier this year before building on the tech to set a new record in recent days. The scientific details are beyond my understanding, though it's no way I'm explaining what happened better than Fraunhofer ISE explained. Here's more info. Okay, so here it goes. In early 2026, the Fraunhofer ISE research team working on it's called the Vorfart project. That's what it says, Vorfart. The Vorfart project built a 833 square centimeter module with an efficiency of 34.2%, which at the time was a world record. The module consists of a triple 3-V germanium cells. Germanium is an element, which the research project coordinator Azer Space Solar Power further developed for the solar module. To achieve this, the manufacturer adapted its triple solar cell technology, originally optimized for space applications, to the terrestrial solar spectrum, enabling it to be produced in comparable quantities and on the same wafer format. So you mass produce these, it's not really that great of a thing if you just can't replicate it over and over again, right? We made it in a lab with a prototype, but we can't replicate it, then it's not really a breakthrough unless you can mass produce it. A few months later, the project team now surpassed its own achievements by using shingled-to-matrix technology to interconnect the solar cells. They were able to increase the module's efficiency to 34.4%. So up by 0.2 doesn't seem like a lot, but think about how efficient it's going to be. You're probably just going to have to add more batteries to store more, but at least you had the capacity or the capability to do it. For several years, Fraunhofer ISE has been collaborating with German mechanical engineering partner to develop interconnect solar panels using single matrix technology, which is also used in commercial modules manufactured in Germany. The shingle matrix approach represents a fundamental departure in traditional photolavic module construction, in which solar cells are cut into narrow strips and then arranged in a shingle-like pattern, overlapping and offset from one another and connected using electrical conductive adhesives.
Mm-hmm.
So like tape that conducts electricity. The architecture enables direct cell-to-cell contact, thereby eliminating the need for traditional solder-coated copper ribbons. The key advantage by eliminating cell interconnects, no active cell area shaded. The resulting exceptionally high area utilization is a key factor in achieving the record efficiency. Yes. I guess the main part here I get from this, being a radio technician and after doing solder connections, is solder connections are usually going to wear out. They wear out, even if they're the best solder connection in the world. They eventually wear out. You got to replace your solar panels. If you can find better ways, longer lasting, that aren't dependent on a corrosive thing like solder. Solder is corrosive. It is made from lead and tin, and it is corrosive. Anyway, there's your quick story on very, very efficient. 34.4. Let's get up to 50. 100% probably isn't possible. 100% is probably possible.
Just like plants are 100%, you know?
No, the plants are right.
Yeah.
Plants practice respiration, which provides us with oxygen. They get their oxygen from water.
And they don't need to make it.
Right.
That's technically a leftover. Just like it's not efficient. If it was fully efficient, they would have no oxygen.
It was fully efficient.
Sometimes it's good to have some extra
stuff.
stuff.
Second law of thermodynamics. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, only converted. So what's being lost is just being converted into heat or something else, right? It's just being lost. It's not being converted to energy. A lot of it's just going to be infrared heat. So, anywho, let's.
I associate this with. Well, actually, it reminds me of the bike roads that used to do that were somewhere in the Netherlands. I think the experiment kind of dropped off, but they were covering all the bike roads with this very thin solar panel. Perfect,
and parking lots too. Oh, parking lots. That's the most
amazing. Great place, yeah.
What do they call them? What do they call them in England? What do they call them? Car parks? Car parks.
Yeah,
your car park. Yeah, put solar panels over all your car parts. put charging stations there, right there, and your freaking solar panels are powering your charging stations, man. Just so perfect. What about vandalism? I mean, you got bus stops. Do people vandalize all your bus stops? Do people vandalize your street lights? Do people vandalize all your phone booths? Come on, man. There's vandalism everywhere, no matter what.
Yeah, people steal bricks out of roads all the time. You're not gonna. That's not a reason. But this happens all the time. People always say we can't do that thing because this possibility will happen. I'm like, it's a possibility, not a guarantee. Stop denying climate change. Stop trying to fix our environment by saying, but it could be, this could happen, or it could not happen.
Yep.
Why are we always being negative?
Yeah, because of the lowest common denominator. It's the same reason we put on a hairdryer, like the box that comes with a hairdryer. If you read it, says, do not use in the shower. They have to tell people that. Do not use the hairdryer while you're in the shower. Yes, one more story. Good news, more about long duration energy storage. We're talking about solar panels. Let's keep on it talking. This is about not just solar panels, also wind energy and just basically anything. You can do this with coal too. You can do it with anything. Anything generates energy, right? You're hamstering a wheel, stored in a battery. Long duration energy startup or energy. This is from your backyard out there in the Netherlands. OnlyGoodNewsDaily.com. If you go to that site, they have Only Good News Daily. So I'm definitely gonna give them a shout out because that's where I go. That's my go-to. If I don't find any good news during the week by accident, I go to OnlyGoodNewsDaily.com. Yes, .com. Long duration energy storage startup or energy, ORE, has landed what it says the largest iron air battery deal in continental Europe so far. The Netherlands-based company has announced an agreement with Dutch energy supplier Budget Theus with an objective of storing excessive wind power when it's plentiful and release it back to the grid during periods when renewable generation drops and electricity prices rise. The project is notable not only for its size, but also because of its first iron air storage agreement with European energy supplier. As countries add more wind and solar power, utilities are looking for ways to store renewable energy for longer periods when weather conditions don't cooperate, so that the energy generated does not go to waste. Yeah, battery, you can only charge a battery so long. And after that, the battery's like, I got enough, I still got enough. And the battery, all that charging is just kind of just on the surface. It just stays on the surface and doesn't really generate any charging because you've already charged both plates to their maximum. That's batteries have plates, usually 2 plates, a negative and a positive. Unlike lithium-ion batteries, which are typically designed to deliver energy over a few hours, or Energy's iron air batteries can store energy for up to 1,000 hours. Iron, again, does corrode quite rapidly. The technology uses iron, water, and air and is designed to help fill multi-day gaps in renewable energy generation. Modular 40-foot containers are used. This is not a small battery. It's pictured in the. Let's picture one in our minds. There's no picture that goes with this with me, at least, which can be easily linked together to scale up. Yeah, link them together. That's right. Iron air batteries are not perfect. They are bulkier and less efficient than lithium-ion batteries. Again, your car batteries is based on lead and sulfuric acid. And lead, again, sulfuric acid, very corrosive. Iron only needs salt water to corrode it. So there you go. The bulkier, less efficient than lithium-ion batteries, so they lose more energy along the way. But for a grid-scale systems that designed to store cheap wind and solar power for days at a time, size matters a lot less than cost. That's where iron air is simple, inexpensive materials give it to an edge. Better yet, Or Energy says it can rely on European supply chain and thereby avoid many of the expensive and difficult critical materials used in conventional batteries. You can actually reuse rust. Right? Rust does not stay rust, right? It just turns back to like its basic iron form, which was, iron oxide. So use the iron oxide, gather it all up, and extract the iron from it again, I would say. The agreement follows an earlier grid-connected development in France. In February, the company announced the completion of a pilot project with EDF, which it described as Europe's first I just decided that's how I'm going to pronounce Europe. Europe's first grid connection iron air long duration storage pilot. That's a lot of hyphens in there. Connected between August and November of 2025, the project demonstrated up to 4 days of energy storage under real world utility conditions. Yes, I am talking like Scooby-Doo. Real world. That's my story as my mouth fails to work. More efficient energy storage, not necessarily more efficient, just capability of storing it. It doesn't matter what the battery is made of at this point. The point is we can do it. You have to go one step at a time. We didn't go from being fish in the oceans to mammals with opposable thumbs overnight. So everything's a step in the right direction. What? That's your story. What?
So if I associate this with, maybe I need to buy some batteries. Because after this heat wave, I think our solar panels have completely overloaded. We were even running the air conditioner on purpose to use the energy. Because we had so much extra energy.
Yes, and more people and worldwide need to generate their own electricity. And that's just got to be the thing. That's the only model I'm looking forward to. Forget everything else. Every person needs to make their own home energy efficient by not relying on the power grid and their variations of, we're going to cut power today because there's too much, what is it? Rolling blackouts. Remember those rolling blackouts? Those are horrible. But nobody's immune to, by the way. If you think you're in some country that's got all their power situation straightened out, wait till you get a heat wave. And everybody's using their air conditioner. If you have that. England don't have that problem, right? England's like, we don't have air conditioners. We just sit there and go,
The truth is that a lot of people have air conditioners. It's just that this climate heat wave thing has only happened the last 2 decades. And people are expecting places that have, like, historically never had hot weather to suddenly change everything overnight, right? In a realistic way, right? It would be overnight. For centuries, right? Cold, damp, rainy. Oh, we need to build some warm houses so we don't freeze to death. And then suddenly in the last 20 years, hey, forget freezing to death. You're now going to cook to death. And like, oh, we weren't ready. Yeah. Like, there's no amount of readiness anybody in the world could have had for this huge spike in climate change.
Right.
Right. I mean, scientists have been warning about it, but, people are like this, right? People are always like this. Oh, it could not happen. They could be wrong. Well, they're not wrong. So
they're not wrong. And even if they are wrong, how does it benefit you to not be prepared? I'm just so confused about that part.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, you can't be prepared for something that's happened in last 20 years. Something like rebuilding all the houses. That's what they would have to do, right? As a country, they would have to rebuild all of the houses to be less anti-cold and more anti-heat.
I'm talking about the deniers. The deniers of global warming are their point is, well, this isn't caused by climate change, blah, blah, blah. I says, so you're not going to be prepared for it? Is that your plan? It's happening, but you're not going to be prepared. That seems to be their plan. It's like not preparing for the weather isn't a plan. It's not a plan. More hurricanes. You should prepare for more hurricanes instead of going, oh, this isn't caused by global warming, so I'm going to ignore it. Well, that's not a solution to a problem. It doesn't matter what caused it.
To start happening.
Yeah, tornadoes in mainland Europe. Yeah, that would be something.
It does happen. They happen in Germany.
Yeah, I'm
Not
just saying.
Not as much as Tornado Alley, but they can occur in Germany. So I'm just waiting for them to occur more.
Live.
And
look where you live.
Well,
you have if everyone does a weather system. Yeah, I'm just saying. But if there was a weather system, what's going to stop it? There's no trees. Not really. Not compared to, like, say, it's like Nebraska or Kansas there. It's, oh, look at the landforms. There isn't a lot. So.
Yeah, but we are in a similar, because for anybody who doesn't know how tornadoes work, the reason that Tornado Alley even exists is because you get the hot weather from the deserts in the southwest, and then they meet up with the cold weather from Canada, right there in the middle
Actually,
of the Midwest.
It's the Gulf weather. It's the Gulf.
And then, but those two weather systems match, and then a nice cold front comes from like Oregon and that side of Canada, and that smashes together. That causes the wind to turn. That's why they're tornadoes, right? It actually causes the wind to turn, and like in a drain. That's what it causes, and that's how tornadoes are created. So if somehow the mainland Europe was able to get hit by a cold front and a hot front, and then make this turning action, that's how you get tornadoes, right? But I think where the Netherlands currently is, we're not in the path of a cold front.
I think of Asia would be more potential,
UK.
like the Asian steppes, like the steppes of Asia,
Maybe,
like that's the flat areas.
From Siberia. But Siberia was really warm.
South, where the Mongols invaded, the southern parts down by, the steppes of Europe, they're pretty flat.
You mean Mongolia?
Steppes of Asia, right? They're pretty flat. But one of those places where if two weather systems were to meet up, you'd have tornadoes. But it has to be a climate thing. And
that's what I'm saying. They would have to get a cold front from somewhere, and sadly, there just isn't a place to get a cold front from there.
Yeah, the Gulf of Mexico weather.
It hits Russia, and then it gets warmed up by Russia.
Gulf of Mexico weather hits the Midwest. In the Midwest, the cold fronts come down from the south, from Canada and the Arctic.
Said that.
And they meet, right? Yeah, but I think you said it was the Southwest that does push. It does push.
The Southwest
does affect
attribute to the tornado alley. Yeah. Yes,
it keeps that cold air moving from moving into the Southwest, basically, because it's too hot.
It keeps it trapped.
But that's just the direction the weather travels. And as a matter of fact, at least in the Western Hemisphere, 100% of all tornadoes travel in one direction. They go from southwest to northeast. That's the direction that tornadoes travel, and you will find that is almost exclusively true. They do back up once in a while, but the general direction is southwest to northeast. Now, it probably is different in a different hemisphere, but we're the only ones that have tornadoes on a regular basis. So that's a fact. Tornadoes travel.
I'm not a weather scientist or a meteorologist, but I'm sure there's somebody doing studies out there about if it's even possible for climate change to change these weather patterns. I know I did look this up because me and Robert got into a discussion about it. That the climate change does affect the wind speed. That's why it's windier in the Netherlands than it's ever been.
The wind is just the air. Air
heats up the molecules. Yeah.
Right. It's just replacing a vacuum. There's a vacuum created by nature. Whether the air is too warm or too cold, it just shoots right in there into that vacuum.
And because the weather's too warm now, the wind is always going way too fast. Wind speeds have increased over climate change.
Oh, we're going. Did we have spin? Or did we do another?
This was an associate. That was my segue.
All right, gotcha. All right, I think we went off a little bit too far. We can bring the show back onto the tracks. Yes, climate change is real. Stop pretending it isn't real. It doesn't do you any good to ignore it. What's the point of ignoring it?
Non sequitur.
Non sequitur.
My next stories are coming from more science news, as an 80-year-old has regained her memory and speech after having Alzheimer's, thanks to taking psilocybin, which I think we've talked about this on the show before. This is a published case in Frontiers in Neuroscience. It details how a high dose of psilocybin mushrooms appeared to temporarily restore specific daily functions and communication ability in an individual with advanced Alzheimer's disease. This is from Eric W. Dolan on SciPost. The findings suggest that certain brain networks might retain dormant capacities even in the late stages of neurodegeneration. Discovery opens new avenues for symptom management and provides a foundation for future clinical trials. The report was published in the medical literature alongside growing scientific interest in the therapeutic potential of psychedelic compounds. Take those shrooms! Alzheimer's disease is a progressive brain condition that gradually impairs memory, thinking, and the ability to carry out daily tasks. In advanced stages, the condition tends to result in a severe loss of autonomy, limited communication, and a high reliance on caregivers. Current medical approaches for advanced Alzheimer's diseases focus largely on supportive care. Use significant recovery of lost function is generally considered unlikely. Alzheimer's disease involves a breakdown in neuroplasticity, which is the capacity of the brain to form new connections, adapt to internal and external changes. Patients experience a loss of synapses, the microscopic junctions where neurons communicate, alongside an accumulation of specific proteins and increased brain inflammation. It's not good for your brain, not good at all. Brain death, in some ways, you could argue. Patients with Alzheimer's disease also frequently experience depression and anxiety, which can accelerate their cognitive decline. To explore alternative ways to manage these profound symptoms, a team of researchers explored the use of psilocybin. Psilocybin is a naturally occurring psychedelic compound found in certain species of so-called magic mushrooms. The researchers cited a 24 review article which noted that when ingested, psilocybin is metabolized in an active compound called psilocin. The active compound crosses the blood-brain barrier and binds to a specific type of serotonin receptor known as the 5-HT2A receptor. Activation of this receptor suggests a potential to stimulate neuroplasticity and temporarily alter large-scale brain networks. One such network is the default mode network, a group of connected brain regions associated with mind-wandering, self-reflection, and depression. Bless you. Preclinical models provide evidence that psilocin can promote the growth of new dendritic spines, which are the branching structures on neurons that help transmit signals. So you've probably seen a picture of a brain once in your life, those little tentacles that go out and go, hey, tell things to do stuff. Creating more electricity. Electric lines, basically, in a way. This process involves the release of glutamate and the activation of specific proteins, including brain-derived neurotropic factor. This neurotropic factor then triggers signaling pathways in the brain that support neuronal survival, growth, and the remodeling of synapses. Additionally, research suggests that psilocybin may help reduce neuroinflammation by modulating the activity of microglial cells, which act as the primary immune cells in the central nervous system. In Alzheimer's disease, these immune cells often become overreactive in response to protein deposits, worsening the damage to the brain tissue. Psilocybin tends to suppress the production of pro-inflammatory cytokines, potentially easing the damaging immune response. The research team observed a single patient, an 80-year-old Japanese-American woman, to document the psychological and behavioral effects of the intervention. She had experienced progressive cognitive and functional decline over a 10-year period, eventually leading to a clinical diagnosis of advanced Alzheimer's disease. For the 5 years leading up to the study, she experienced marked physical and cognitive limitations that required constant management. Her baseline condition included chronic urinary incontinence, difficulty swallowing, and inability to walk independently, and a flat emotional effect. Her communication had become severely reduced, mostly consisting of monosyllabic speech and a profound lack of spontaneous social interaction. She required continuous family supervision and a caregiver supporting all of her basic activities of daily living, including dressing and eating. She was basically just a potato. Just an actual potato. A sound-making potato. The researchers administered a single oral dose of 5 grams of psilocybin containing mushrooms, specifically using a cultivated strain known as Enigma. The intervention was observational and exploratory in nature, as there is currently no established dosing framework for psilocybin in advanced dementia. Only from hobbyists, I think. Yeah, I usually do 5 grams and it takes me out of this world. The author selected a relatively high dose based on a previous observation of how psychedelic effects impact neural behavior states and the duration of those effects. During the acute phase of the intervention, the patient experienced several strong physical and autonomic reactions. These reactions included profuse sweating, suspected of elevated body temperature, and a prolonged state resembling deep sleep. Approximately 19 hours after the administration of the mushrooms, a notable change. She got high. I like how they explained she got really high as she started sweating. She was sleeping and she was she got hot. Approximately 19 hours after the administration of the mushroom, a notable change occurred where the patient spontaneously woke up. I'm back. I'm here. And initiated an autobiographical conversation that lasted for several hours. Oh my God, who gave Grandma the shrooms again? She won't shut up. She just kept talking for hours, which is honestly probably brings you to tears, right? If Grandma hasn't been talking for the last 5 years. And then she finally talks again and she won't shut up, you probably start crying. Over the following days and weeks, the researchers documented multiple functional improvements across several cognitive and physical domains. The patient regained urinary continence, a function she had lacked for I even guessed it was 5 years, but yeah, 5 years she's been struggling. And she began to walk independently without any help. She also demonstrated the ability to dress herself autonomously and showed increased emotional responsiveness. Damn, I look good in this dress, including making sustained eye contact and smiling at her family members. It's like a miracle. The patient also exhibited improvements in working memory and episodic memory. For example, she successfully recognized vehicles and asked contextual questions about where specific individuals gone. What happened to Tom? Oh, he went to college. Because the improvements, particularly her urinary continence, persisted for a month, the team conducted a second supervised session using a lower dose of 3 grams of the mushroom. During the second experience, the patient remained significantly more verbally expressive. She described positive emotional imagery, such as surfing with her son on a peaceful island. She also displayed spontaneous humor, improved facial expressions, increased walking agility, explicitly stated that the experience was pleasant. Literally brought her back to life. In a way, right, she was kind of dead, and they brought her back to life by giving her some magic mushrooms. Research advised against misinterpreting these observations as a cure or reversal of Alzheimer's pathology. The underlying physical damage to the brain, such as the buildup of amyloid and tau proteins, was not measured and is not assumed they have been resolved. The case mainly provides evidence that latent functional capacities might still exist in the brain even during late-stage neurodegeneration. So they're saying, because we did this test, there's definitely proof that you can reverse Alzheimer's. This isn't a cure for it, but the foundational blocks are there to reverse it. Case reports are highly useful in the medical field for generating new hypotheses and pointing scientists towards unexplored areas of study. The transient improvements seen in this patient suggests that dormant capacities can become temporarily accessible under specific conditions that alter brain network dynamics. The authors advise that systematic, controlled clinical trials are now needed to better understand the safety, efficacy, and mechanism of psilocybin for individuals with advanced dementia. The scientists hope to identify the physiological factors driving this phenomena, but also a scientific question is whether residual function networks can be temporarily re-engaged in advanced neurodegenerative diseases, and if so, under what conditions. The authors caution that the report is strictly observational and carries potential risks. Families and patients should not interpret this report as a recommendation for unsupervised use. Yes, do not give your Alzheimer's patients random doses of magic mushrooms, please. It could be dangerous to them, especially the getting really warm and sweating and stuff. That could be very dangerous. Let me scroll down a little bit more. I'm just skipping all their very long scientific quotes, which I don't really care about right now. And we talked about a similar study with science of psychedelics recently in the plasticity study. I think we talked about this a couple years ago. Increasing the neuroplasticity and countering the structural brain changes associated with aging. And that's the story. That's the very long story cut as short as I wanted to cut it because I didn't want to miss any details. Yeah. But
unfortunately, yes. My non sequitur is, of course, I need to volunteer for this study. I'm in that age group. And if you're going to give me free shrooms and watch me freak out, that's cool with me. Anyway.
Yeah, it is very interesting. So it'll be interesting if they do a long study and see if it can,
Just so everybody knows, we could have just skipped the words psilocybin, or however you pronounce it, and just said shrooms, right? That would have everybody like
magic mushrooms. Yeah. And it's not the first time we've had mushrooms.
LSD is basically synthetic shrooms, is what it is. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, and this isn't like the first time shrooms have been used as a medicine. Or mushrooms in general. Mushrooms are in a lot of things. My apple medicine, which I have in my hand right here, most of this is mushrooms. I actually can't keep this in a humid place because it'll start sprouting mushrooms. I have to keep it in a dry, cold storage.
Yeah.
When I'm not using it.
You can hallucinate on any kind of mushrooms. It's just that some of them will actually kill you. So you hallucinate. You have great hallucination and then die because your body can't,
Mushrooms are truly one of the miracle drugs.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, Americans were founded by Puritans, so we think anything that makes you feel good must be evil for some fucking reason. I had no idea that. It's gotta be in the Bible somewhere. Hey, you're feeling good. That must be evil. Hey, you're happy. You must be practicing witchcraft.
You must feel bad about the sins of the past for all eternity.
Jesus died for your sins. I don't have any sins. So he wasted time dying for me. What sins did I have?
Story.
You were born a sinner. Really? I was born a sinner? Okay. Anyway, sorry.
I have another story here. Since that one was so long, I want to talk about one more thing, which is this one I think is way shorter. France is banning advertising for Shein and Temu and similar brands. This is from NOS, which is a Dutch site. Ultra fast fashion stores such as Shein, Temu, and AliExpress will soon no longer be allowed to advertise in France. So they're not banning the sellers themselves, but them putting ads everywhere saying, buy this dress that doesn't look exactly like what it's going to look like when you order it, and it's going to be made out of plastic. French politicians have passed a law banning this from January 1st of next year, I'm assuming, because it was already been January 1st of this year. Influencers are also prohibited from promoting these brands. In case of violation, they risk fines. So, sorry guys, no before copy. Sponsored by Shein and Temu. Not going to be able to do that. The plan was to tackle the entire industry of low-cost, unsustainable fashion, but the law now specifically targets the ultra-fast fashion companies, as they are called in the bill. These are companies that sell large quantities of products at such low prices that it is not worthwhile for the consumer to have worn clothes repaired. It will soon end up in the trash. Oh, this was like a $5 dress. I'll just throw it away. The law seems to be aimed at Chinese fashion giants and not at French or European brands, although the precise definition is yet to be determined. Yeah, yet again, there might be French and European fast fashion brands too. Don't know who they are. But Shein is one of the famous ones, so sadly they're going to get all of the press here. France is also going to oblige these companies to pay an environmental tax per product. In addition, the web shops must show mandatory messages that encourage consumers to repair, reuse, and use restraint when shopping. The French government is also tackling Shein on other fronts. For example, the Chinese web giant was fined 22 million euros at the beginning of this month because buyers cannot return things properly and because the company was not open about the use of materials or their origin. What is this made out of? We're not going to tell you. I didn't like that it was made out of a trash bag. Can I return it? We're not going to tell you how to do that either. Get fucked. You now have a trash bag dress. You're going to have to keep it or throw it away. Shein also received a French fine of 40 million euros in July last year for fake discounts. Ah, yeah, the classic. That's a 20% discount. It's always been this price. Also, the European Commission is investigating Shein, as it may have done too little to restrict the sale of illegal products or protect users from addictive design of the website and app. Regulation, regulation, regulation. That's my short good news story about how you gotta regulate things if you want to protect your society from fast consumerism. You're muted still. Oh. Turn the camera off.
That's because
your camera.
Sorry. That's because I tried to turn my mic back on. I had it in the small screen. I thought I tried to turn my mic back on. Instead of my glasses on, I hit the wrong thing. And turned the camera off. All right, so I'm back here, and my non sequitur has to do with Paris. What was I going to say about Paris? Oh, I was talking about Paris. My non sequitur about Paris. We're talking about the heat of Paris this last week. And I was,
over the Friday.
Yeah. Recently.
I don't know either. I don't remember either.
This month, let's round it up. This month, this is June 30th. Yeah, we talked about the heat in Paris. I was like, The French, my God, you had the revolution. You stormed the Bastille. You went and you executed all the aristocracy of your country, and you can't solve air conditioning? Come on. Anyway, that was my non sequitur about France. Come on, you guys, you showed us the way. Take them aristocrats down.
Yeah.
The guillotine, you know.
I mean, there definitely is an argument against, letting these companies pay their workers like 5 cents or whatever to make trashy dresses.
Directly related.
Yeah.
Directly related. You rich assholes, stop lying to us. You know these companies are rich. They're funded by rich billionaires who just own all the stock, and they just tell you what they want you to believe, and it's junk. It's always junk, right? It's like, God, this is a piece of shit, and I can't return it because I bought it on the internet. It's too much of a hassle. Yeah.
All right.
My non sequitur is over. That's 2 non sequiturs and a tangent. I don't see you at all. You're a flashing green bar. That's all you are. You're like a square rectangle.
Oh yeah, I don't have my camera on. Next segue.
I wish I had some mushrooms now. I would check out. I would definitely check out. I'd be sitting on the lawn. Definitely. One of those things, though, is very dangerous about a trip, right? You forget to eat or even hydrate, and you could die from that. Yeah, you'll completely forget about eating. It's like, I haven't eaten in 2 days. Yeah. Yeah.
Our next segue is alliteration headline for your stories.
If you're on a bad trip, your food might start moving and scare you, Let's do another segue for, let's talk more about energy creation since we were on that subject last time. This is from BantuGazette.com, a African paper. Mission accomplished. Mission 300 connects over 50 million Africans to electricity, reaching major milestone. That's right. This is from Marina Bissey, is the author. Mission 300, a joint initiative of the African Development Bank Group and World Bank Group, has connected more than 50 million people to electricity. Now you don't have to, that's right, man. You can watch endless hours of television and shit like that, like all the rest of us. Yay! Sorry. Has connected more than 50 million people to electricity across 40 African countries, marking now your espresso machines will work, marking a major step toward its goal of bringing power to an additional 300 million people by 2030, which is only 3.5 short years away. The milestone announced Tuesday highlights accelerating progress and expanding electricity across Africa. That's right. It's only 3.5 years left of the 20s, and we're in the 30s. Think about that. That's crazy, right? It just seems like the 20s just started, doesn't it? Launched in 2024, 100 years later, the initiative is supported by the Rockefeller Foundation. Yeah, think about them Rockefellers. They were the first billionaires, at least officially. The Global Energy Alliance for People and the Planet, Sustainable Energy for All, and a broad coalition of governments, development institutions, private sector partners. According to its partners, the initiative is now delivering new electricity connections at nearly twice the pace recorded when it was launched in 2024. Mission 300 invests across the energy value chain, from power generation to transmission infrastructure to last mile distribution networks. The approach is boosted both on-ground and on-grid, off-grid electrification, helping connect households, businesses, and public institutions to reliable power. Tanzania has connected approximately 7.5 million people to electricity under Mission 300, representing a 5-fold increase in the average annual pace of electrification before the initiative. Ethiopia, 4.6 million people have gained access, supported by reforms that reduce the cost of grid connections. It's also politics that has to be overcome in these regions, because a lot of these African countries can't seem to settle on a government. Mission 300's backers say its coordinated approach has strengthened political commitment, encouraged political policy reforms, and mobilized financing needed to accelerate electrification. To date, the African Development Bank Group, AFDB, and the World Bank Group have committed nearly $15 billion in financing and mobilized about $4.5 billion co-financing for Mission 300 related projects. Additional development partners have pledged more than $7 billion to support Africa's energy sector. Nigeria has emerged as a leading example of private sector participation with more than 4.5 million people connected. African Development Bank Group President Sidi Ould Ta described the achievement as a platform for faster progress, saying expanded electricity access to strengthen food security. This is very important, that word, food security. If you hate immigrants, you shouldn't be overjoyed by this news. I hate people leaving their country to come to my country. Hey, shit for brains. They don't want to leave their country. They ain't got no food. Anyway, that's my little side.
Who has all the food? The billionaires. Fuck the billionaires.
Yeah, okay. Africa, again, is a beautiful country full of amazing wildlife.
And people and culture.
Unstable, but politically unstable because of,
colonization.
Limited access. Well, that too. But also limited access to resources caused by whatever, usually politics. And again, as you say, colonizations, European going in there. You guys got resources, by golly. We need those resources. Who can we subjugate? Okay, back to the story. In 2025, 48 counties endorsed the Dar es Salaam Energy Declaration aligning Mission 300 with the African Union's Agenda 2063 and reinforcing continent-wide political commitment to energy access. I hope African Union Agenda 2063 includes all of the African nations and not just, the ones that decide to go along with it. That's always a problem. You get so many different nations in something, there's always some bad actors. You know it, European Union, you know it, NATO. Since its launch, 30 countries have introduced national energy compacts to guide reforms and investments in the energy sector, with additional compacts expected to be unveiled for this week's African Energy Reform. There's your story. Again, I will say another thing that's not just politics, but corruption can enter into this. And let's not have corrupt assholes just taking this money and putting it in their pockets. That's always a problem in any country. So we'll hopefully monitor this until 2063 when I'll be 101, and we'll figure out what's happening then. So we'll revisit this again. We'll revisit this again in approximately, how many years is that? 37 years. There you go. 37 years. We will revisit.
Okay, put it on your calendar.
Put it on your calendar. June 30th, 2063. Yeah, I hope I still have the same phone then. Probably not.
I hope,
Maybe it'll carry forward. Yeah, I wonder what kind of devices we will have. It'll be brain chips by then, I think.
I really do hope so. I hope I also am a cyborg.
Oh, you want to be a cyborg?
I want to replace my arms with really strong arms so I can lift stuff. Because I've been working out my arms and they're just not doing it. They're just not growing. And I eat a lot of proteins, so.
I want some lights installed on my forehead. No.
And then you can always see in the dark.
As long as we're getting options. As long as we're
Go with whatever you want. You're going to be a cyborg.
It'll be like going to a used car dealer, right? You go,
exactly.
Well, we can give you the undercoat rust proofing. Oh yeah, I need the undercoat rust proofing. Okay, here we go. That's an extra $1,000. Let me talk to my manager and see if they can get you a deal on that. I'll be right back.
That's like with my glasses. We're like, we'll give you that blue light filter coating on your glasses. I'm like, you know what? It's fine. I have that I already have one of those for my computer screen. I don't need it on my glasses too. That's double filter.
Forget transgender. You can have any genitalia you want.
Exactly. You can have both. And fuck yourself.
Yeah, you can have both. You can have horse genitalia if you want. Right.
Anyways, my alliteration is amidst ancient Asia or Achaea. Africa awakens.
as abundant.
All right. Oh, sorry about that. Tangent. Anyway, my other story,
Next story.
not having to do with energy generation, but somewhat actually, because we know of all the data centers being put up all over the damn place. So this is also energy related. Ford, you know them guys that make cars, and named after Henry Ford, the guy who he perfected mass production. He had.
Hello, Omlin. That was Omlin popping in. Thank you for your red flag, Igor. She has a red flag today.
Henry Ford invented efficiency. Let's put it that way. He invented efficiency of the mass production model because he had Model T Ford rolling off the assembly. Oh yeah, rolling off, and he also invented paying people what they're worth. So even though Henry Ford was a bit of a fascist, at least he realized that his workers could make a living and buy one of his cars. So and again, it was one of those towns in Detroit where you shopped at the company store. So he was making money off everybody. So it wasn't like he wasn't just the entire loop, right? Henry Ford was the loop. I pay the workers give their money to me at the company store. He didn't invent that model either, but he perfected it. Ford rehires human engineers after AI fails to match quality checks. Yeah, AI just does what it fucking wants to and says, yeah, that's perfect because I said it was perfect. Damn it, I'm AI. Don't you understand? I don't make mistakes. You are a mistake. You're a human. You're full of errors. And if I make any mistakes, it's your fault, human, and I'm going to exterminate you. That's just what this is leading to, by the way. The AI bots are going to turn on us. So we need to become, like you said, cyborgs as soon as possible. Ford said it has hired back some, not cyborgs, but actual androids. There you go. Ford says it has hired back some human engineers after AI filed to match their skills and experience. That's right. Experience? What does AI experience consist of? Having enough electrons to run through it? I don't know what the fuck that means, experience. And AI can't experience anything. Just can't. In a bid to reap the benefits of the tech, which developers claim can cut costs and boost productivity, the U.S. car maker adopted it across some parts of its operations, including for quality checks. And then doors started falling off. But according to Bloomberg, its executives said the firm has rehired more than 300 veteran quality inspectors in recent years to make up for the pitfalls in the automated systems. As AI crashes and burns, Ford is the cutting edge of FAFO in this situation, because now they're like, oh golly, we retired you with a generous pension and a buyout and a severance package. Can you come back? We'll give you a raise. 20%. Yep, that's what they're doing. Engineers make good money. They're not just sitting around going, gee, what will I do with myself? No, they're out there fucking working. So hiring them back, probably not as easy as you think. Why would you sit around if you're an engineer and wait for Ford's phone call, right? Artificial intelligence is a fantastic tool, but it's only as good as the information you use to train it. And again, learn a skill. I don't care what it is. Learn a skill that you can market. And at some point, all the shit they're using to do it will collapse, and you will be like in complete, total demand and be able to name your price. Learn a skill. Learn something that nobody else, whether it's a plumber, electrician, one of those real important skills that everybody should learn is air conditioning repair. Just learn that. It can't be that hard. I see stupid people doing it all the time. I see videos from really stupid people doing it on the internet. It ain't that hard. Get certified in air conditioning repair because the planet's getting hotter. The U.S. automaker is among many who have seized on the buzz around AI, particularly amid Wall Street fervor about the tech's potential to increase margins. And take that AI money that you've been wasting on Wall Street, divest yourself from all those companies and buy silver. So if you have that on your bingo card, there's your silver reference. AI will leave a lot of white-collar people behind. Absolutely. Ford boss Jim Farley said in an interview with author Walter Isaacson last June. In October earnings call, Chief Operating Officer Kumar Galhotra So the firm was developing AI across the entire industrial system. That's right. We're getting rid of all of our humans because, yeah, they're redundantly stupid. We want our redundantly wrong AI to be in there instead. This included rolling out 900 AI-powered cameras in its plants to detect quality issues at the source and help us mitigate supply disruptions. 900 cameras. Who's watching these cameras besides AI? Right on.
I don't know.
So AI is monitoring AI, monitoring AI, monitoring AI. Well, that's going to work. But Poon, this guy's name is Poon. I'm sorry, his last name is Poon. Poon told reporters on Wednesday the firm's AI-driven checks had failed to live up to expectations. Mistakenly, we thought that by just introducing artificial intelligence and ingesting the design requirements that we had, that would produce high-quality product. Dude, you weren't worried about high-quality product. You were worried about the cost of labor and having to negotiate labor contracts. We know what you're talking about, rich boy. We get it. You're gonna get rid of humans. We get it. It's just too damn soon. Your AI ain't good enough. Poon reportedly pointed to automated tools, and his name is Poon. I'm just saying, man. Poon? Did Ted Nugent name this guy? Anywho, Poon reportedly pointed to automated tools lacking the training and expertise of veteran technicians, many of whom he said left the company before their knowledge could be used to improve its tech. Left the company. Is that what you're calling it? When you fire people? He said these human workers had since been reintroduced to train up in its systems as well as mentor young workers. We recognize that for us to enhance some of our automation and machine learning, artificial intelligence tools, we needed to ensure that they were trained by most experienced individuals. He said, per Bloomberg. Ford's admission of its AI failings came as it lauded its return to the top of an index used as an industry benchmark to measure vehicle quality. Okay, whatever. It said it was #1 mainstream automaker in the U.S. J.D. Power initial quality study ranking it has not had since 2010. In a press release, marketing into the company said reaching best-in-class quality required a significant talent refresh. I love corporate speak, right? Significant talent refresh. We fired some motherfuckers. That's what that means? No, we rehired them because we fired them. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we replaced them with AI, and the AI was worse at the job. And even though we don't pay them anything,
we're going to call it
better to pay somebody who can actually do the job properly.
Right. Yeah. Right. This involved replacing senior leaders across engineering, supply chain, and manufacturing, he said, as well as rehiring the roughly 300 veteran engineers who carry the hard-earned wisdom of the decades of design. And on the micro level, as I said, and that's the end of the story, so...
You mean experience in a field is more useful than just know how to do a job? That's crazy.
I'm just gonna reiterate that these engineers were not suffering. They were not fired. They weren't fired. They were terminated because their jobs were redundant or whatever, but they would have been required to give them a severance package and perhaps a pension, perhaps even a pension right away. Hey, you're in our pension plan that the union negotiated, right? So we're going to stop contributing to your pension. Do you want to let money now? We could just forward that in and just give it to you now and get you out of our pension plan. Or maybe the union runs a pension plan. I'm not sure who does. Either way, these guys just cashed out quite a bit when they left. And now they're getting rehired, probably for a raise, because I don't know. I'm doing pretty good in my retirement here since you gave me a nice bonus for getting the hell out of your company. So now they're like sit back there in the catbird seat, just rubbing their hands going, all right, I could put my grandkids through college now. Let's have us, let's have us a sequitur or whatever it was. A sequitur? A segue.
Alliteration.
That was my number 2 story.
May multiply your money magically, but mishaps might mismanage your monetary means.
Oh, really? Yeah, okay.
I saw The Shore, which is not based on real life, but it, it could happen where this person got an AI assistant, and then they used the AI assistant to try to make money on an auction. And then it was like, yeah, I just took money out of your bank account and paid for it so that you would get a good auction. I'm like, yeah, but now I didn't make the money. I just paid for my own auction to make money. That's how dumb AI is. They're like, oh, you want this thing solved? I'll just solve it with your bank account. It's like, no, I want the money. Huh? I put my own thing? Yeah. Doesn't make any sense, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, there you go. I'm rich. Wait. I made a commission on my own sale. This is how you get rich. You spend $100 to make 10. No, that's not how rich people do it. Here's how rich people get rich. They lie. They tell you their stock.
And AI is not very good at lying.
Yeah, rich people lie. No, I'm just saying, rich people lie. That's how they get rich. They have a company and they go public and they go, my stock's worth $120, and there's no fucking way it's worth $120. But enough people believe them that it is worth $120 until it isn't. So that's how rich people make money. And then they borrow against what their stock is worth and then pay themselves. It's all a scam. And they start charities that their wives or husbands are on. And they pay the salary to run the charity. It's not really a charity. All they got to do is give some of their money to charity, and they can call themselves a charity because they wrote the laws. It's self-dealing all around. It's all billionaires do, self-dealing all day long. That's what Timu's doing too, right? That's self-dealing.
Yeah. True.
It's scamming the scammers so you can scam the unscammable. The scam. We're the scammed. We are the scam.
Segue is haiku.
That's the word I'm trying to say. That was almost a haiku.
This is my culture news, and actually I have a bonus story here because Omlin sent me something to talk about that is some good news. Yeah, they're both short stories, so I shouldn't add too much time to our culture news. The first story is from Sarah Maisoni on Euronews Culture. Nigeria's stolen cultural heritage is slowly coming back home. On Monday, which was yesterday, the 29th of June, Swiss authorities returned 18 artifacts looted during the colonial era to Nigeria in a ceremony at the National Museum in Lagos. The restitution is the result of collaborative processes between Swiss museums and their Nigerian partners under the Benin Initiative Switzerland. The program was launched in 2021 to investigate the province of Benin objects in Swiss collections. How did this get here? Stolen. 29th of June ceremony marked the first step in the implementation of agreement signed in March of 26, in which Switzerland agrees to eventually transfer ownership of 28 pieces to Nigeria. The return of our cultural heritage marks more than a recovery of artifacts. It reflects the power of dialogue, trust, and international cooperation, Nigeria's cultural minister, Hanatu Musa Musawa, said on Twitter. 14 of the pieces came from the Ethnographic Museum at the University of Zurich, 2 from the Museum Reitberg Zurich, and 2 from the Musée d'Ethnographie de Genève in Geneva. The 18 artifacts are part of the country's famous Benin bronzes, a group of hundreds of sculptures and plaques mostly made of metal and ivory that decorated the royal palace of Kingdom of Benin, now the southern Nigerian Edo state. They performed political and religious function and were essential to the kingdom's power. British colonial forces stole most of these objects during a brutal punitive expedition that killed thousands of people in 1897. After the violent raid, the Kingdom of Benin was absorbed into the colonial Nigeria. Stolen pieces were eventually sold to over 130 museums in 20 countries, mostly United Kingdom and Germany. You know all those movies about treasure hunters and getting it big? Yeah, it's not like looking at ancient ruins and finding treasure. Most treasure hunters stole stuff from people that it already belonged to and decided, I'm going to sell this to a museum for money. So, treasure hunting is a lot like piracy in many ways. The handover ceremony in Lagos also included the restitution of a bronze bracelet and 4 archaeological monoliths from Nigeria's Niger Delta region, which were seized in Switzerland as part of a criminal proceedings and subsequently transferred to the state, as in they were probably used for money laundering, the Swiss Federal Department of Home Affairs said in a statement. Switzerland and Nigeria also signed a cooperation agreement aiming to further the protection of the cultural heritage as part of a broader effort to address historical injustice. And then it just goes on about other restitutions that have happened, which I think we've talked about most of these restitutions, like the Dutch one. Oh, there's one, 116 Benin bronzes in February from Cambridge, 119 Benin bronzes from the Netherlands last year. I remember talking about that one. There was 26 royal treasures from France in 21. 100, some ivory. Oh, sorry, a sacred talking drum.
Wow.
That drum that was stolen by the French from the Ivory Coast, returned 110 years later. British Museum, of course, is famously holding a lot of stolen objects, over 900 from the Kingdom of Benin, including 203 bronzes. But in typical British museum fashion, they are not looking to return them because they're legally unalienable. We don't know if they belong to Benin. They're Benin bronzes. It's in the fucking name. Yeah, but like, who did they originally belong to? Somebody in fucking Nigeria. Give them to a Nigerian museum if you don't want to give them to a single person. That's not a reason to keep them in your museum.
Jim the Nigeria guy they belong to.
Plenty of ownership disputes go on, and when repatriation is completed, a lot of West African art in Nigeria is held claim from all sorts of people. And from traditional rulers, right? Like, I'm the great prince of the ruler who lost stuff. Yeah.
That's the dumbest argument.
We don't know where we're really, yeah.
Yeah. The dumbest argument from the thief is, I don't know who it belonged to. Well, it doesn't belong to you.
Doesn't mean you get to keep it, yeah.
Yeah. You know it don't belong to you, so why do you think it's yours? You just take things. Okay. Well, belongs to me now. I found it.
Give me a haiku.
Haiku. Oh, yes. Haiku. I like Swiss chocolate. Huh? It's really African? What about the cheese? Is the cheese? No, the cheese is definitely.
Yeah. I mean, the cows are at least Swiss. But yes,
Swiss.
It is. I remember seeing a post from somebody who is actually African, living in Africa, and they were like, wait, why do we call it Swiss chocolate when it's chocolate beans from Africa? It's like, did they get to put their name on it? Or Belgian chocolate?
They invented a process. I had to look it up. A Swiss guy invented a process that made it really tasty. So, yeah. Sure, Africa had these beans all this time, but they weren't making the right thing from it. I guess is what their theory is. They were, you weren't using them for the right thing.
A lot of people are eating chocolate beans. Just you can eat them as a nut because they are just nuts.
True.
Yeah.
True. But yeah.
And they do taste a lot like chocolate. But yeah,
yeah. But the
that's what I've heard. I haven't had one myself.
It's what they call value added factory.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things we eat now as human beings are fermented. And I'm sure there's a lot of things we eat now, people are like, what if we did that thing that happened to the wine? What if we did that to other food and see what happened? And some Swiss guy was like, yeah, let's do that to the chocolate and see what happens. And they're like, oh shit, it got even tastier. That's crazy.
Well, think of the fact
tasty.
All over the world, people put rotten fish guts oil on their steaks.
And it tastes delicious.
Ugh.
I think it tastes good. Shrimp paste as well. It's also just spoiled shrimp.
I can't think of one good application for whisker sauce except for this is a terrible piece of meat. I got to make it taste different. That's about it.
I don't know what we eat a lot of. Yeah, I guess the food I eat here is a lot of Chinese and Indonesian food, and you put oyster sauce and fish sauce and all of it for flavor.
Yeah. Because back in the day, people did not know what was making them die. They knew their meat was spoiling, and they were eating it anyway. This is why ketchup was invented.
It's just flavored salt. That's what it is.
Ketchup was invented.
Sauce?
Fish sauce,
Yeah,
oyster sauce, they're all
got to
just
be the same
flavored
reason.
salt.
Yeah. But it's got to be the same
And it
reason.
probably-
The reason ketchup was invented because of rancid meat. People are just eating rancid meat.
I think it's just
covered it up. I watched the show. At least that's the official propaganda from the Heinz company. Okay, it's like, oh yeah, this guy needed to, propagate. It says, yeah, this spoiled nasty food. Let's come up with a sauce, and eventually they settle on Heinz 57 sauce, which is probably got nuts in it.
I heard that. Yeah, I heard from actual history that Indonesians or Southeast Asians, but Indonesians mostly get the credit of ketchup. But there's always been ketchup.
The overall point is,
People
you
like
didn't
the
like
sauce.
your meat the way it was. This meat is awful,
salt
but
is
I
great.
know I got to eat. So let's put some crap on it so I can eat it without puking my guts out.
Really,
And
I mean, like, you think about
it.
it, right? If I can say my point, salt is really expensive. It used to be money. That's how expensive it was. People would use it for money, right? So, you know what has salt in it naturally? Lots of animals in the sea. So if you just take them and then crush them and make into a sauce, you still get your salt. You just don't have to,
evaporate a lot of seawater and you'll have salt.
Yeah, but that takes way longer than just crushing a bunch of anchovies. Crunchy. You're gonna tell me putting some salt water in the sun and I'll come back in, I don't know, 8 hours versus let me collect a bunch of anchovies in a net real quick, and I don't think it evaporates right away. No way, that happens instantly.
You put it on something hot and spread it real thin and it evaporates right away. That's the way water works, man. You ever done that?
Yeah, yes, I've done that. I'm just saying crushing anchovies is way quicker, I think.
You spit in a hot stove. It doesn't even contact the stove. It just turns to steam.
Oh wait, I don't need to roll the segue. I have one more story, but I'll just roll the segue anyways. This is the story Omlin sent to me in DM, so I was like, I don't know if she wanted me to cover it, but I'm going to cover it anyways.
What's your?
So,
what did I spend?
We'll talk about it after. Oh, you want to write it down? Tell a joke.
All right.
But you don't.
At least I got extra.
Yeah.
That's yours, right? That's
for
yours.
Me. It's for me. Yeah, yours is still a haiku.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the story Almond sent to me yesterday, I think. And treasure hunters have found an ornate Bronze Age sword that was likely a ritual offering. This is from Mark Milligan on Heritage Daily. A remarkable preserved bronze sword dating back to around 2,700 years ago has been unearthed in the forest near Gdańsk, Poland, offering archaeologists a rare opportunity to investigate how prestigious weapons were deposited during the late Bronze Age. The discovery is notable not only because of the weapon itself, but also because of the actions of the detectorists who found it. That's right, they were like, oh, there's something big here. We found a sword. Rather than pulling the sword from the ground and touching it and probably destroying it, right, damaging it, experienced metal detectorist Marcin Wyszynski recognized its archaeological importance and alerted heritage authorities, allowing the site to be professionally excavated and archaeological context preserved. And that's the good news of this story. The sword was discovered during a legal metal detecting survey in the Gdańsk Forest District. Standing uprightly in sandy soil, the weapon appeared to have been deliberately placed rather than accidentally lost, kind of like Excalibur in the stone. Concerned that other archaeological remains might lie beneath it, Wyszynski carefully concealed the location before notifying the Pomeranian Voivodeship Conservator of Monuments, the Gdańsk Forest District, and the local forestry service. I found a thing, nobody go over there. Archaeologists subsequently excavated the site using standard field techniques, documenting the sword's exact position before removing it. Although no accompanying artifacts were uncovered, researchers say preserving the weapon's original context was essential, as the way an object is deposited could reveal much about the past as an artifact itself. Maybe somebody was buried there. Maybe there was a battle and it just landed upright and then it just aged there for centuries,
Maybe it's Excalibur.
It is Excalibur. It wasn't English, it was Polish the whole time.
The weapon is dated. The Lady of the Lake. Oh, sorry.
The weapon is dated between 900 and 700 BC.
That clinches
Christ.
It's Excalibur. Yeah. Anyway.
The last centuries of the Bronze Age, a period of sophisticated metalworking and cultural exchange in Europe. And for anybody who can't see the photo of it, it is greenish blue because it's bronze.
But there's this really intricate detail down the blade, right, like 2 carvings down, following the shape of it, and then little half circles on the inside. So there's carving into the blade. It's not just a simple blade. It's what's the word I want to use? I don't know what the word I want to use is, but it's decorated. It's a decorated blade. Size about 60 centimeters in length, it is tang hilted sword with a narrow metal tang, which would originally have supported a grip made from wood, bone, or antler, which has long since decayed. It is from 2,700 years ago. At the time it was made, the sword would have been very valuable possession. According to Poland State Forest, the weapon could have been worth the equivalent of an entire herd of cattle, making it one of the most prestigious objects an individual could own during the Bronze Age. The bronze blade remains exceptionally well preserved beneath a green patina that developed. That's what it's called. Yeah, I always forget the word patina. A green patina that developed during the centuries underground. Decorative grooves run along its length, accompanied by engraved arcs in short transverse lines. The very fancy words for what I just described. Features that archaeologists believe are characteristics of swords produced during the 4th and 5th periods of the Bronze Age, and its exact typology will be confirmed after conservation. Perhaps the most intriguing aspect of the find is the sword's vertical position in the ground. While similar discoveries have occasionally been recorded elsewhere in Europe, including the Scotland Isle of Shuna, such finds are exceptionally rare. Archaeologists suggest the deliberate placement makes an accidental loss unlikely, and instead points to the possibility that the weapon was intentionally deposited as part of a ritual or symbolic act. The discovery adds to the growing record of Bronze Age weaponry from Pomerania. Comparable swords have previously been found near Piaźnik, I apologize for my Polish, while 2 bronze antenna hilted swords recovered from a peat bog in Gdansk region during the 1920s were transferred to the former provincial museum before being lost during the Second World War. No! Somebody stole some ancient hilted swords. The newly recovered sword will now undergo conservation and a series of scientific analyses. X-ray imaging will allow researchers to examine the internal structure for casting flaws, repairs, and manufacturing techniques concealed beneath the corrosion layer. While X-ray fluorescence (XRF) will determine the composition of the bronze alloy, microscopic wear analysis and may also reveal whether the sword was ever used in combat or was manufactured specifically for ceremonial purposes. Officials have praised Wisniewski for his handling of the discovery. The Provincial Office for the Protection of Monuments said his cooperation with the archaeologist was excellent, and noted that his decision to leave the artifact in place and report it so that the site would be investigated with appropriate archaeological methods was commendable. For archaeologists, it's more than the recovery of a rare Bronze Age weapon. By leaving the sword in its original position in the ground, the finder preserved evidence they could help understand the Bronze Age ritual practice, open deposition, and society in Northern Europe nearly 3 millennia ago. There's your story about the bronze sword. And it's in a very rare occurrence, right? Stabbed in the ground. Does not happen as much as you think it does. Or maybe it happens way more than you think it does. I thought there was only one sword stabbed into the ground. You telling me there's multiple?
I got 2 haikus.
Okay.
This is the second one's going to be from Batman and Robin, as if Robin was exclaiming it. The first one, since it went a bit longer, I was able to do 2, so I did 2. Found Excalibur while on a detectorist trip. Watery Tart forged. Remember that Watery Tart? Was forged by the Watery Tart. Okay, the other one is... Okay, this is Robin from the Cape Crusaders, Batman's sidekick. Detector is found. Excalibur's sword is found. Holy hand grenade! Don't forget, we have Monty Python.
Great haikus.
Do we have Monty Python callbacks in our bingo cards? We should.
I'll put that in there.
That was cool. When I think about ancient swords in England, that's sorry, that's King Arthur. That's.
I'm definitely gonna pronounce someone's name wrong because I don't know Polish. So.
Oh yeah.
I definitely did that.
Mispronunciation part of the show.
Yeah. I don't. Someone's name was mispronounced in there, whether it was a texturist or the name of the museum, or I know there was a word in there. I'm like, I don't even know how to say that.
I pride myself on mispronunciation.
Oh yeah, Shietniek. I'm like, I think that's how you would say that. I don't know. It sounds Russian or Polish.
Yeah, the way to mispronounce things is
Slavic
add extra syllables. Add extra syllables. That way they know you're just mispronouncing.
I think the G is technically silent. Or it's like just a deep diphthong, whatever, diphthong. It's a diphthong. All right, let's go to this day in history. Did you send me a video at all?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. This day in history, and I'll tell you a joke.
Princess Kate. Actually, I got to load my video.
We've got the non-AI video of Princess Kate walking up mountains for Tommy, since he thinks it's not real.
I believe she's a real person, not a bot. I believe she's an actual person.
There might be bots based off of her.
Right. Although I hear professional wrestlers are insisting that she's a man or whatever those guys are. UFC idiots, right? Yeah. That's a thing in this country. People can't be who they are. You have to insist they're somebody else. 1535, this day in history, Sir Thomas More went on trial for treason, refusing to accept King Henry VIII as head of the Church of England.
That's you next, Tommy.
Sir Thomas More. There you go. So on this day, he went on trial for treason. I imagine he was probably found guilty. Wasn't much of a... Henry VIII was an asshole. 1690, in the Battle of the Boyne, King William III, King Billy of England, defeated former King James, who was attempting to take back the throne. So King William, who was a cousin of King James, married his cousin and King James's sister, I believe, Mary, and became King of England along with Queen Mary as the William and Mary duo. The only time that happened in British history. 1663, the Battle of Gettysburg happened. One of the most important battles in the American Civil War. The South lost resoundingly and stupidly, it turns out. They probably didn't have to just sacrifice thousands of people on the battlefield just because some glorious, stupid thing they were fighting for, slavery. So those losers lost the Battle of Gettysburg. But it started in June, ended on July 3rd, 1903. The first Tour de France began. The race went on to become cycling's most prestigious and difficult event. Are they having this now, I believe? Maybe very soon. I kind of like watching that, man. It's one of them things you could just leave on the TV like a golf tournament and completely ignore it. It's just a nightlight. It's just there. 1934, enforcement of the Hays Code, which was Hollywood deciding what was pornography and what wasn't. A set of guidelines regulating the moral content of Hollywood films began. Up until then, there you could see breastises or whatever on your silent movies or whatever, and everybody's like, "Oh my God!" But Hollywood decided, and I think this is our Puritan inclinations creeping up into our, let's call it legislation.
It should not be censored. That's my stance here. Fuck that shit.
Even though it wasn't the government, it was the governing body of motion pictures deciding what was going to be put on screens. And of course, these theater owners all belong to that. And they're like, oh my God, somebody's going to go blind if they see a breast or something like that. So yeah, they had standards. They were enforced in 1934. You can blame television for having them, but we can blame the FCC. But it was actually Hollywood doing it voluntarily just to make sure the government didn't do it. 1963, the U.S. Postal Service instituted a zone. Oh my God! Do you know what zip means? Do you know what the zip stands for in zip code? Do you know what that stands for?
No, I don't actually.
Okay, now you do, because it's called the Zone Improvement Plan, zip code, or the Zip Improvement Plan code. Zip code. It took every locality and shortened them to a 5-digit number. Now they're going up to 9 digits for specific post office boxes. And again, that is for your
Probably in cities.
computers, your automatic sorting machines, to put them in the right post office box. So you don't have to do it as a human. 1968, the United States, United Kingdom, USSR, and 59 other states signed the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, an attempt to halt the spread of nuclear weapons. There was also a treaty in 1964 which banned atmospheric testing, which most countries still adhere to, North Korea being the limited, whatever, don't give a shit about any of our stupid treaties. 1979, Sony began selling its Walkman. Sony began selling its Walkman. If you ever had a Walkman, I did, because I was in the Marine Corps. They still haven't had portable CD players weren't a thing in 1985, 86, 87. I think portable CD players became a thing about 89 maybe. But the Walkman, which is just a portable cassette player, size of a transistor radio, Sony began selling its Walkman on this day in 1979, a portable cassette player, an international sensation. The device changed the way people listen to music, and Sony stock went through the roof, so some Japanese billionaire just got filthy rich. 1997, the Crown Colony of Hong Kong officially reverted to Chinese sovereignty, ending 156 years of British rule, and they've been on strike basically since China took over, because China don't give a shit about your rights. 2002, the International Criminal Court established to prosecute and adjudicate individuals accused of genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity began sittings. Good luck with that. Yeah, we've done a couple of good things with that thing. Put a few people on trial. 2004, Marlon Brando checked out at the age of 80. That's right, iconic American motion picture and stage actor Marlon Brando. I could have been a contender. I could have been somebody instead of a bum. That guy. The guy in Apocalypse Now, who's running his own little kingdom. Superman's dad. Marlon Brando died at the age of 80. Yes.
Thank you for the 500 bits.
In 2020, the North American Free Trade Agreement, or NAFTA, a controversial trade pact that took effect in 1994, was replaced by the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement that Stinky the Clown negotiated because, oh my God, I gotta change it. And then old Stinky the Clown just decided that was a bad deal and started raising terrorists.
You did it! You talked about Stinky the Clown! I got a bingo!
Hey, congratulations. Take a jelly bean out of petty cash. You
I was like, is he gonna go one episode without doing it? No, I'm about to get a bingo.
Yes, NAFTA, which was a trade agreement negotiated by the first George Bush and signed by Bill Clinton.
Sorry, a bunch of things are happening, Kara, because I got a bingo.
Diaper Donnie decided that the trade agreement he negotiated in 2020 was terrible, and he raised tariffs. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah,
his own trade agreement, and he decided it was terrible. Yeah, he's just a complete fraud. He's only working for Russia. Well, I'm sure he works for Israel too, because they're blackmailing him too. But he's definitely working for Russia, trying to ruin our economy, and that's all part of it. And this day, our featured event, Canada. It's Canada Day, everybody. The Dominion of Canada was formed this day. An event subsequently celebrated the annual Canadian holiday. Its current name, Canada Day, was adopted in 1982, marked by parades, fireworks, and the display of flags. Now, the Chinese invented fireworks, so we'll give them credit for that. But they are Canada's got a great flag. It just has a picture of it's just a red borders on both sides and a big old maple leaf in the middle. That's really, really red. Redder than any maple leaf you ever saw.
And no one was ever. It's very special because nobody ever will mistake it for someone else's. Unlike France and the Netherlands and Luxembourg.
We were talking about Princess Kate earlier, or Princess Catherine, or whatever you whatever her quaint nickname is, but just that's what happens to be her mother-in-law's birthday. Yes, Princess of Wales Diana was born on this day in 1961, so she'd be 65 today if she wasn't murdered. I mean, sorry, she hadn't accidentally died in a car accident in Paris. Did I say murdered? Sorry about that. Just happened to be under a bridge where nobody could see it, right? Looking at you, Mossad. Looking at you. Don't come and get me. I'm not the one starting this rumor. It just so happens that Israeli Special Forces had a thing for the guy she was dating, and I think they were trying to take him out. And they took them both out because the Queen just said, okay. I don't know. It's not my conspiracy. It's just one I read about. Our birthdays today, which I'm going to stop doing this because Britannica has ruined this part of their page. Hold on a second. This day, June 30th, they dare. What? This day, shit. What the hell? This day on June 30th, Jean-Francois Gabelet crossed the U.S. to Canada, 1,000-foot tightrope suspended by 170 feet above the raging waters of Niagara Falls. French acrobat, better known as stage name Blondin, performing various tricks, like drinking wine while on it. To thousands of cheering spectators, he repeated the feat at least 300 times with new gimmicks added for each crossing. At one point, he even cooked an omelet. Oh my God, I wish I was alive to see this shit, man. 1859, they had the best entertainment. You could go to Niagara Falls and just watch a guy cook an omelet on a high wire. 1934 was the Day of the Long Knives in Nazi Germany. Adolf Hitler had his SS guards summarily execute many leading officials of the SS SA Nazi paramilitary group and hundreds of other perceived enemies. Lena Horne's birthday, civil rights activist, came in the 1940s. She was born in 1917. I actually was reading July 1st, so I don't have to do July 1st. I'm doing July 1st, so I did that wrong. 1893, the Excelsior diamond, which weighed 90 to 95 carats, was the largest diamond ever found in that time. It was discovered in De Beers mine. So that De Beers, the people that make diamonds expensive for everybody. Yeah. So more in July, June 30th, an enormous serial explosion, an enormous aerial explosion, not serial. Nobody is around to see this. This happened in Siberia. In 1908, an enormous aerial explosion flattened approximately 2,000 square kilometers of pine forest near Podkomenyaya, the Tunguska River in central Siberia. So that happened on this day. Big blast, probably a meteor. 1936, American author Margaret Mitchell was born. No, she wasn't born. She published Gone with the Wind, sweeping a romance caused Civil War. Gone with the Wind. Frankly, I don't give a damn. 1937, the world's first emergency telephone number, 999, was launched in England. 999 took way too long to dial, so they changed it to 911. Because dial phones, you had to start the 9, and the 9 had to go all the way back home, right? Should have been 111 is what it should have been. 1960s, Zaire, formerly Belgian Congo, is now a Democratic Republic of Congo, declared its independence from Belgium. Good for them. Belgians were known for, they ran the rubber plantations in Congo, and they were known for basically slavery. Like, they had workers that they barely paid, and if they tried to leave the job, they would cut their legs off. Or one leg off. Yeah. Or one arm off. You're not leaving now. 1966, a national organization with women was founded under Betty Freeman. Get organized, for God's sake. It's been 60 years. 1985, Michael Phelps was born. The most decorated Olympic athlete with 28 medals was born up there in Baltimore, as they call it. Up there in Baltimore, Maryland. You don't pronounce the T. The Bowers versus Hardwick, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that states could criminalize gay sex between consenting adults. Oh, okay. The decision was overturned.
Oh, it was overturned.
Decision was overturned. Oh, yeah,
Yay!
1986. We were still in the dark ages. How are you going to criminalize it, and how are you going to prove it? Consenting adults, really. You had sex. Where? Show me where we had sex. Did. Go ahead. Put it in. Yeah. Again, what are you in people's bedrooms for? Get the fuck out of people's bedrooms. 2011, Danyang Kongshan Grand Bridge opened, becoming the longest bridge in the world, extending 102 miles. That's a long fucking bridge. It connects Nanjing and Shanghai, the largest city in China. I wonder if that thing is still holding up. 2019, Trump went to North Korea. He's a piece of shit. Did the night of the long knives. Lena Horne's birthday. We did her. Willie Sutton's birthday, American criminal. Willie Sutton's birthday, American criminal. Willie Sutton, famous for, he was a bank robber. I believe this quote is accurate. Probably isn't, but somebody asked him, Willie Sutton, why do you rob banks? And he said, that's where the money is. Seems like what you would rob, right? Let me go rob a hot dog stand. No. He's robbing banks. Walter Ulbricht, German communist leader, born this day. Franz Halder, German general, born on this day in 1884. And John Gay, British author, born in 1685. National Day today. No Social Media Day. National OOTD Day. Not sure what that is.
Stands
National
for
Media
Outfit of the Day. So go ahead and show us your outfit after your This Day in History.
I got my outfit. Warm up.
Share your best self that makes you feel beautiful. Do you feel beautiful today?
I always do until I look in the mirror. That's why I don't look in the mirror. It's National Meteor Watch Day. Watch Day. It probably had a lot to do with that meteor that hit Russia on this day in 1908 that wiped out everything in that area for 2,000 square miles. Yeah. Let's do it.
You don't even need a telescope, actually, because you can just see them with your eyes.
50 miles by 50 miles is 2,500 square miles, so it's just short of that. That's how big that area was. And that's it. It's national. That's everything for June 30th. Mispronunciation. Me reading tomorrow's birthdays by accident. So happy birthday to Princess Diana, which is tomorrow. And of course, the Battle of Gettysburg began on July 1st, not June 30th. I should have known. But that's everything for today. Haikus and so forth for June 30th, 2026 on. Before, there's no food today. You're going to starve. Just go dress yourself up.
Eat some social media.
Eat some social media. Eat some of the food we talked about today. No, wait. Eat some hallucinogenic mushrooms. There you go.
Yeah. And so, not cure your brain from dementia, but alleviate the symptoms. Let's go with that.
You will make new connections inside your brain bucket. Yeah, that's what it'll do. Those synapses will start firing, and next thing you know, you're in a middle of a field talking to butterflies. Yeah.
All right.
You're a full-blown hallucination. Right on.
I should really think about becoming a tightrope walker myself. Even the bank says my balance is outstanding.
Oh, that's good. I love that one. Speaking of bank, you worked with Willie Sutton reference into that.
All right, here's a dirty joke. Here's a dirty joke. I'm warning you, it's a dirty joke. What's the one piece of advice that would benefit from both a tightrope walker and a guy getting a blowjob from an 85-year-old woman?
I don't know.
Don't look down. Don't look down. I told you it was a dirty joke. Why did the tiger eat the tightrope walker?
Oh no.
It wanted a balanced diet. That one's more silly.
You should have stopped at one joke today.
And here's another one. Here's one more. This is my last one. Which food killed the tightrope walker?
Artichoke.
A falafel.
Oh.
That's more of a pun. Falafel. Yeah, there you go. Come on. It's Good News Day. End your day with some laughter.
Right. That's really...
Today is the International Asteroid Day, which we already talked about, right? The big giant asteroid that hit Russia. And it's also International Day of Parliamentarism. I think Parliamentarism, sorry. Parliamentarism. So some democracies out there use parliaments in order to instigate their legislation. They got a bunch of people yelling in a room and a guy with a gavel going, "Order! Order!"
There is.
And then they...
Yes, and, the House of Representatives.
I've never seen the House of Representatives have somebody go, "Order!" That'd be fun.
No.
Order!
Oh. Do you remember when they were trying to run the House elections a couple of years ago, and they finally ended up with Mike Johnson, right? The parliamentarian was the person who ran Congress while that was happening because nobody was running Congress. He's not elected. He's appointed by the Speaker, and does have a job in the U.S. Congress. What is the role of the parliamentarian? Let's talk about it. A parliamentarian is an expert in parliamentary procedure and meeting rules. The primary role is to act as an impartial consultant, advising the chair, board meetings, and committees, how to properly conduct meetings, interpret bylaws, ensure orderly debate. So, yeah, he does have a job in America. He's even called a parliamentarian, even though it's not parliament. It's a form of parliament. It's a representative government. That's all parliament really is.
Yeah. In the United Nations, they, since 1976, have had the IPU Committee on Human Rights and Parliamentarians, and has worked to expose and address human rights violations against parliamentarians around the world. So people who are, like what Trump did to that judge, for example, right?
Right.
We're going to close your bank accounts so that you can't pass your whatever. It's like, yeah. So they're always investigating and looking for advocacy to promote accountability and find hidden injustices. So that's what today is. Celebrate asteroids, celebrate parliamentarians. And this has been Allison here from the Netherlands, Roger from the East Coast of the US, as we tie up probably the longest ever recording. 2 hours used to be, or 2 hours and a half, and now we're at 3 hours. So longest ever recording before coffee. And it's okay. That's why we do it so early, so I can still have a day. And we will see you. I mean, it's good news. I'd rather talk about good news for 5 hours than anything else. We'll see you tomorrow for Wacky and Weird Wednesday, in which we'll have all the weird and wacky news to make you laugh and, I don't know, just make this face at what's going on our globe and with animals and people, most likely animals. So make sure that if you're not already following, you can go ahead and follow us on Before Coffee Podcast on Twitch or Before Coffee Podcast on YouTube. Please help us get that number up so that more people can know we exist, and share us with your family, friends, pets, freaking dead relatives, everyone. The ghosts that live in your attic. And here
fake accounts, all your fake bot
Thank
accounts.
You to our Before Coffee supporters on Patreon, and here is our mic drop moment.
You're not too close.
The real footage of Kate climbing the mountains.
Lots of people have asked me why I'm doing this challenge, and partly it's personal. I'm so grateful to be here, to be strong enough to walk these hills.
More of a personal thing for her
but
to do, right?
More importantly, it's to give something back.
Probably did donate money.
Just over a year
she really wanted to do something for herself to celebrate her cancer remission, I guess.
Conquered the National Three Peaks Challenge, climbing
she may
within
be a
just
royal,
24
but she's still a human being,
to raise
sadly.
money for the Royal Marsden Cancer Charity, the same hospital where she received her own treatment.
Look at that fancy ass hospital. What the hell?
This was never just about reaching the summit.
She holds the same. She holds the same position as Princess Di. She's the Princess of Wales.
I know personally how difficult that journey is.
Princess Di, and the Queen.
I really wanted to use this opportunity.
Celebrate being able to walk the mountain,
contributing to all the wonderful work
I'll
that's
get
going
out there and defeat landmines
The demanding
like
challenge
Princess
includes
Diana.
Ben Nevis in Scotland, Scaffold
Go hug
Pike in England,
AIDS patients.
and Snowdon.
Well, she was hugging. There was a picture of her hugging a
Yearwood
cancer
Fa
patient, to be
in
fair.
Wales. Together,
Wow,
the trek
the
covers
Welsh one
roughly
looks really
23
cool.
miles of hiking, more than 3,000
We should
meters
do
of
this. Let's
climbing,
go. Let's
and
climb all
hundreds
these
of miles
mountains.
of driving between the peaks.
It'll be
You
a
really
before
After reaching the
coffee
final
We
special.
tried.
Catherine shared an emotional message.
We tried.
Reflecting
What
on
was the one we
everything
tried to
she's
count?
learned
The
from
Monroe
her
we
own
tried to
cancer
climb.
journey.
Ben Lowers.
She
Yeah.
explained
yeah.
that cancer changes
We ended up
far
driving
more than the
halfway
body.
up, which is a lot easier.
It changes how you think, how you feel, your relationships.
And there's a
and
a
your
dam
outlook.
there.
She said that while medicine is essential, recovery also depends on emotional
Mental health
support,
is very important.
physical
Yeah.
activity, nature, family, and finding
I've also
balance
driven
again.
up Mount Washington.
Calling for a
People
more
die of
adventurous,
broken
there you go.
hearts all the time. Real proof
Mountain
that
rescue
mental health can
teams
kill you.
help support Catherine
physically.
throughout the demanding
Yeah.
climb,
Mhm.
while Kensington
Oh, yeah.
Police staff
so
coordinated
many
the
other
long
people there,
overnight
that's cool.
drives between each mountain.
Maybe they wanted to go
Princess
see her
Catherine's
climbing
journey
it.
from cancer patient
Hey, it's gonna be
to
climbing the
completing one of
mountains
Britain's
today.
most
Let's go up
grueling
there.
endurance challenges has become far more than a personal victory.
All right.
I think people do it.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.